Welcome to Vampire Masquerade, Coteries of New York, and we're at episode 10, and we're trying to get some friends. Welcome guys, I'm King Priam by night, and we're playing Thane, the Toreador Vampire. And we're with Agaton in his car at the moment. Let's continue from that and see if we can still get some Coterie members. I'm used to working alone, but what I'm dealing with right now, it might require some assistance. And you seem capable enough. Thanks, I guess. Found what you came for. I can do more, you know. So let's try with this one and see if we can get the fish on the hook. You know, I can do more than watching your back while you're channeling Madame Blavatsky. Can you now? I guess we'll find out next time. That seemed to deplete his social battery for the night. You drive the rest of the way in silence. It doesn't take you long to reach the warlock's hideout. Agaton waves at you absent-mindedly, once again lost in his thoughts. Hopelessly so. One of these nights, you should probably take him up on his offer. Who knows? If you gain his trust, maybe you can actually break through his stoic facade and meet him underneath. So, let's continue meeting up with Tamika and see if we can make her do the choice of joining our coterie or not. Discard one. Upon returning to your haven, you find a small scrap of paper lying on your windowsill. Need a favor, if you're still up for it. Come meet me in Prospect. Tam. Once again, you cross the gate at Prospect Park and head straight for where you last saw the feral duo. Minutes pass. Finding no sign of Tamika, you begin to worry that something might have happened to her. Suddenly you hear rustling coming from the nearby bushes. And it's not the stray cat kind of rustling either. Whoever's hiding in those bushes, how can I... you know I can hear you, right? Tamika? We do this one, because we actually have the Auspex one and maybe hint at it, that we do know someone's there. Hey, you in the bushes, you know I can hear you, right? The rustling stops, if only for a second. Suddenly, the bushes part and Raoul walks out, desperate, trying to look confident. Yeah, that's only because I wanted you to. Listen, I want to have a word before Tam gets here. She seems to like you for whatever strange reason, but the way I see it, you're a nuisance at best. At worst, you're a threat. Oh, you don't like me, I got it. You're warming up to me, is their point of the speech. Yeah, let's go with the first one. I get it. You don't like me. Forgive me if I don't lose any sleep over it. You should be, because when I don't like someone, I do something about it, and it's usually not pleasant. Tamik is my sister in every sense of the word that counts. Anything happened to her that I find even remotely your fault, I'm coming after you. Is that clear? Crystal, now fuck off. No, I'm not your enemy. She doesn't need a babysitter. Let's do the middle one. I'm not your enemy or Tamika's. I don't think you understand. I don't give a fuck what you think you are. What I'm saying is, if anything happens to Tamika, I'm holding you accountable. All of a sudden, the sound of footsteps reached your ears, and it's just faint enough to not be ostentatious, but still loud enough to hear. You can tell that whoever's approaching wants to make the presence known. Both of you and Raoul turn just in time to see Tamika emerge from behind an old sycamore tree. It's hard to tell just how long she's been listening on your conversation. In any case, she walks up and speaks, addressing no one in particular. Did I miss anything? Yeah, your brother worries about you. Your brother's being an asshole. Nothing important. Let's do this last choice. I think that's a good deflection. Nothing important. We're just having a chat. Where are you now? She gives Raoul a scornful look, like she's about to rub his nose in his own crap. What about? Nothing. You know where to look for me, Tam. Sure do. And with that, Raoul takes his leave. Tamika waits in silence, just long enough to make sure he can no longer hear her, and addresses you. I have a favor to ask. For you, anything. What is it? I like my favors returned. So let's do the first choice. Sure, anything. She raises an eyebrow. Anything, huh? Careful, I may take you up on that. I meant it. That's just a turn of phrase, but yeah, I actually do mean it, so let's do the first choice. I meant what I said. The look of genuine surprise washes over her face. She blinks, and as if trying to revert to her default resting bitch face setting. I have an errand to run. I was hoping you'd come with me. There's a place east of here. It's a short walk. We should be back in about 2, maybe 3 hours. Wait, we're walking? 3 hours, you call that short? Yeah, let's do the last choice. 3 hours, you call that a short walk? Sorry, I'm used to much longer distance than that. I forgot not everyone is. You think you can handle it? What's this about? Should I expect trouble? Sure, let's go. And yeah, why not be forthgoing? Sure, we can go now if you're ready. Well, alright. And so you head toward the parking lot, accompanied by Tamika and a lot of unanswered questions. Following Tamika's direction, you finally arrive at the Evergreen Cemetery, one of the oldest burying grounds in Brooklyn. You enter through the southwestern gate and follow your companion through the sea of tombstones. It's a nice enough place as far as graveyards go, much less homogenized than the usual flat field littered with identical markers. Tamika confidently presses on, swerving and weaving along a pre-programmed path. It's clear that she's been here more than a few times. Finally, she makes a sharp left and takes a few more steps down a gravel walkway, coming to a sudden stop in front of a modest headstone. The inscription reads, Luca Santiago, beloved sister and daughter, born 1991, taken from us too soon. With her eyes fixed on the gravesite, she lets out an absent-minded utterance. I need a moment alone. Not long, 5 minutes at most. You look around and search for a good spot to wait for her and pass the time. At the far end of the nearby lawn, you notice a lone bench situated under a weeping willow. Suddenly you hear voices, distant, but slowly approaching. Judging by the tone and timbre, you're guessing it's a couple of teenagers out to get their late-night kicks among the dearly departed. Might be a good chance to feed. Then again, you could just pass the time walking around the area. It's actually quite nice, in a dark, somber kind of way. I'll wait on the bench by the tree. I take a walk, don't take too long, and a feeding opportunity. But yeah, let's do the feeding. Take your time. I think I'll go grab myself a drink. You do it quietly. I don't want any trouble, not here. You leave Tamika alone and follow the voices. Soon enough, you come upon a couple in their late teens. Judging by the thick eyeliner and the clothes, consisting mostly of black leather and lace, you venture a guess that they're loving nothing more than to meet an actual vampire. You're happy to oblige. As you emerge from the shadows, you can feel your all intensify. The boy and the girl watch you, completely awestruck, waiting for you to approach. The slightest gesture is enough to shoo the boy away. It sits on a nearby bench and watches, completely enamored, as your lips press against the girl's neck. It's a weird sensation to feel actually honest-to-God pride in a victim's blood, but here you are. She's glad to have been chosen in this way. You decide there's no good reason to discriminate and also take a sip from the guy. His BO is pretty terrible, but the taste of his blood isn't half bad. Hoping the teens' post-kiss days will make you face just an impression in their memory, you leave them on the bench, just as they let their exciter homos run wild and start making out furiously. You half expect Kadir to materialize, sword in hand, to deal with these loose ends, or with you for leaving them to roam like you did. You need to be more careful in the future. Finally, you get back to the tree and find Tamika sitting on a bench without a word. You sit next to her. You look over to her, doing your best not to stare. She looks down, crossing her arms and putting her hands on her shoulders. In an instant, the furious savage appears, replaced by a vulnerable young woman. I think I'm done. You okay? Who was she? You feel like sharing. Yeah, I'm actually curious who she was, so let's do this one. Look at her. So, who was she? A sister and a friend. Sorry, I'm being monosyllabic again, aren't I? She looks away. You can tell she's struggling to open up to you, so you remain silent, trying not to make her uncomfortable. I was embraced not far from here in this cemetery. A fitting spot, I suppose. It was closed a decade ago. I've been on the road for a couple of years at that point, hitchhiking from one town to another. New York was supposed to be just another stop. And then I met Jezebel. She was strong, smart, independent. Seemed like someone I could trust, someone I could get close to. She never made me feel inadequate or ashamed, and she could hold her own in a fist fight too. Funny thing though, she only wanted to meet during nighttime. I didn't think much of it, even came up with excuses for her. Busy, eccentric, whatever worked. Until one night she sank her teeth into my neck. At least you knew your sire. Is she still around? She sounds like quite a gal. Yeah, okay. At least you knew your sire. I think I will go with this option. A fighter, a lover, an undead abomination. She sounds like quite a gal. She was. I honestly learned more about her after she was gone. She was the real deal, an old-school gangrel, a veteran of the Battle of New York. She looks away, grow reticent for a brief moment. Anyway, she left too soon after turning me. I think the conclave of Prague really shook her up. She left you alone? Doesn't justify leaving you. Conclave of Prague. Yeah, let's do this one. I'm actually pronouncing Prague in the wrong way, so sorry. Yeah. Wait, the conclave of what now? Prague. It's a city in Central Europe. It was supposed to be neutral ground. A good place to discuss politics and strategy. It ended up almost turning into civil war. Next thing you know, the anarchs were expunged from the Camarilla. And all they had done for our kind, the blood they spilled, didn't amount to anything. I can't blame Jezebel for feeling betrayed, but yeah, even though I still had Varul and Luca, I was still furious and terrified. Luca died a few years later. Operation Lights Out, they called it. It was a coordinated assault by the Second Inquisition, a genocide by any other name. Her family got together, bought up a plot and burned an empty casket. I guess they wanted some closure. I can't fault them for that. Even though she's not really here, I like to come and visit from time to time. It reminds me who I am, keeps me in check, keeps the beast at bay. Also, this being the place of my embrace, you have to appreciate the level of irony. She straightens up and looks at you if something just occurred to her. Sorry, didn't know what came over me. I don't know what came over me. 1 minute I'm all grunty and stares, the next I'm giving you my biography. I guess I'm just tired of being scared, alone. You don't have to be alone. You're looking for a place to belong. Yeah, let's do the first one. I think that's a good option. You don't have to be alone. I used to think so, but those were simpler times. At this point, I'm just looking for something to believe in, someone I can give a damn about. Camarilla has its merits. The anarchs cherish freedom. You have Raoul, or you have me. And I'm actually quite fond of her. She's a beautiful lady. And a gangrel. deadly. Let's take this one. You got me for whatever it's worth. She looks at you. Her mouth drops open, ever so slightly. You can tell she wasn't expecting that. Yeah, I do, don't I? You open your mouth, but before you can make a sound, Tamika motions you to keep quiet. She lifts her head, sniffs the air. Her ear perks up and her eyes widen. Suddenly, she pushes you with all her strength, sending you flying off the bench. Before you even hit the ground, an immense shape flies into view, smashed down into the bench, splintering into pieces. With the blood surging through your veins, you pounce out onto your feet. You look at the mass of fur and muscle that just nearly pulverized you. The creature rears its head, giving you a deranged stare. It then turns to Tamika. She seems utterly terrified, frozen in place, as if she literally just saw a ghost. You notice the creature shift its weight, as if preparing to pounce. Get the creature's attention. Yell to warn Tamika, and celerity push Tamika out of the way. Yeah, we're newly fed. Let's do the celerity one. With your reflexes greatly enhanced, you're able to get over to Tamika, push her out of the monster's way. You both land safely on the grass, while the beast flies through the air and smashes face first into the marble headstone. The creature then turns towards you. For a second or two, it moves into its mouth awkwardly, as if trying to remember how to form words. Stay out my ground! The creature runs off towards a nearby clearing. When all of a sudden a gunshot sends it tumbling onto the ground. A group of well-armed men in body armor emerge from the shadows in an ordered formation and moves in close around the creature. Ooh, Second Inquisition maybe. They were ready for him. So walk out to meet them doesn't seem like a good choice. Stand and fight? I don't know. Retreat and hide. For the moment, yeah, let's do that. 2 enemies at the same time, it's not a good idea. Not sure what to make of what's happening, you figure it's best to get out of sight. As you start backing away into the nearby bushes, you notice Tamika following your lead. For the relative safety of the thick foliage, you watch in silence as a group of armed men subdue the creature using steel nets and cattle prods. In the corner of your eye, you catch Tamika looking away, as if she's finding this whole spectacle somehow distasteful. She speaks under her breath, her voice shaking. Can we get out of here? You see no reason to object. The walk back turns out to be a quiet and somber experience. You both walk in silence. The city, a blur of lights and car careening by. You look over to Tamika. She seems lost in her thoughts. Finally, you decide to break the silence. What was that thing back there? Any idea who those guys were? Are you gonna be alright? Yeah, let's do the first one. It seems like she knew him, maybe? Or recognize him? What the hell was that back there? A werewolf? No, if it were, I probably wouldn't be talking right now. Still, in a way, that might have been preferable. She rubs her temple, trying to collect her thoughts. Among those of my clan, we tell stories about the Scarred One. What is he, the boogeyman or the Scarred One? The Scarred One? That's the only name he's known by. He's a cautionary tale for young gangrel. He's what happens when you let the beast take over. I always figure him to be more of a metaphor. Seeing him in real life, it's like if a Christian just happened to run into Judas Iscariot one day. And seeing him hunted down by the SI, I don't know what to think. I don't even know where to start thinking. Decided to give her some space, you spend the rest of the walk in silence. Soon enough, the familiar tree line of Prospect Park comes into view. You stop by the entrance nearest to Tamika's haven. She keeps walking, without so much of a word or glance in your direction. She stops after several paces and turns back towards you. I'm sorry. Thanks for coming with me, but now I have a lot of shit to figure out. Once I do, I'll let you know. And with that, she disappears among the trees, seeing no point in sticking around. You take your leave. So another night, we need to rest. Let's do that. Not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. Hey, I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you. Do you know what she needs me for? What if I don't want to see her? Well, my freedom was good and while it lasts. Well, let's do this one. Maybe a little colored by the gangrel's freedom. These last 2 nights were nice. I had freedom, initiative. Good while it lasted, I guess. He smiles apologetically. Don't shoot the messenger. The car is waiting, shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave, disappear, let Sophie find somebody else to employ. But then you remember the honors thug being cut down by Kadir and how close you were to the same fate, not even a week ago, and that it might still happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked into one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it was there earlier, but she's behaving as if she's seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance that soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile. You're here, excellent, thank you, Gregory. Her driver leaves and she turns her attention to you. I hope you had a good few nights and made some new acquaintances, but I have to say, I'm happy to see you, Thane. Thank you for coming. The changing mood of the room is so sudden and startling, it makes you consider the true power of vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her emotions, her entire body language all feels 100% genuine in expressing legitimate interest in you and your well-being. I have a request for you this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery. She points to the statue at the side of the room. You notice a plain-looking flash drive lying on the edge where the inanimate archer bow touches the pedestal. The man you've been looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all over New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I need you to take this flash drive and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the content. They're all encrypted. A precaution for all the data, for if the data falls into the wrong hand. But it won't, correct? She gives you a smile that just a handful of nights ago would make you feel like melting. Oh, and Thane. Kaiser is a Nosferatu, that twisted, deformed lineage of kindred. He is old, and his age made him even more paranoid than others of his clan tend to be. He holds Menahaven and changes them often. From what I've gathered, he or one of his servants should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You have to identify them somehow. I'm told Kaiser has spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around in the car in a black limo. Maybe keep an eye out for it. That smile again, but much shorter. Anything more on Kaiser? Why do you need to trade with Kaiser? And why don't you look for Kaiser yourself? Yeah, let's do the middle one and see if shit will tell us. Why do you need to trade with him? Can't you just request the information given you connections? Kaiser don't care about me or anyone's position. He considers information as valuable as blood and makes it a point to never share it for free. He only deals with people who have something to offer. But trust me, She picks up the flash drive and puts it in your palm. I have more than enough means to grab his attention. She flashes one last smile at you and turns back to the painting, clearly done with the conversation. You pocket the flash drive and head out towards Coney Island. And I actually think that's a good place to end for tonight. And thank you for watching. And if you liked what you saw, trigger like below and follow. Otherwise, have a nice evening.